Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Anne and today I'm going to bring you my July wrap up. So July was not the best month for me, unfortunately, but that is okay. Some months are not great, but let's just go through my statistics and then get into our book reviews. So in total for July I read 9 books. 6 of them were physical, 2 were ebooks and 1 was audiobook. The genres that I read were 3 fantasy romance, 1 fantasy, 1 sci-fi, 1 romance, 1 crime, 1 paranormal and 1 contemporary. Wide range of genres there. Age ranges, I read 8 adult and 1 YA and 0 middle grade, like normal. My ratings were 5 3 stars, nope, 3 5 stars, 4 4 stars, 1 3 star and 1 2 star with 0 1 stars, which is great. And then where I acquired my books, we have 7 owned and 2 ARCs. So definitely read quite a few of my own books, which is very good. So let's just get into our reviews. So the first one that I read this month was Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas. This is the novella that leads on to A Court of Silver Flames. So this is just a very short novella where we're following our crew from book 2 and book 3, and we're kind of watching them celebrate the winter solstice. So we're kind of seeing how everyone is dealing with what happened at the end of book 3 and kind of the mental health and the trauma aspects there and what's happening with them there. I had a really good time with this. I really enjoyed it. I do wish it was a little bit longer because I do love these characters and I love being here in this world with them. And I'm still very scared to read A Court of Silver Flames, but I had a great time. I did tab it up. And I'm very intrigued to see how the next book is going to go because there's a lot of tension there with a certain character. I don't want to say too much without spoiling it, but yeah, I'm very, very excited. I'm also really, it's nice to see some different point of views in this. So we do get some point of views from Morgan and Cassian, which I thought was really nice. And there's certain things that I thought were really beautiful within here, and kind of seeing some of our characters healing and definitely facing the trauma that they've gone through, which I think is really, really special and amazing. And I just love this series, love these people, love these characters, and I'm just very scared but excited to carry on. But I'm scared to say goodbye to Feyre and Rysand, but we will carry on at some point. The next one that I read was Heartless by Marissa Meyer. So I listened to this on audio and I gave this a 4-star rating. So this is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, but it is also the villain origin story of the Queen of Hearts. So in this one, Catherine is one of the most sought after females within this world, and her mother has high expectations of her to marry well, etc. But the only thing that Catherine wants to do is to open a bakery with her best friend. And on the night that she is going to be proposed to by the king, she meets Jest, and we're kind of following her falling in love with Jest and their story and how she actually became the Queen of Hearts. As we go through this, I like the thought of Alice in Wonderland. I love the whimsy and how I love the idea of all the whimsy, but I just find that I need a more concrete kind of understanding of what's happening within the world. This has been on my shelf for a long time, so I'm glad that I did get to it, and I was very curious as to how she was going to become the Queen of Hearts. So I was very intrigued the whole way through, kind of trying to figure out what was happening, but I did find that the whimsy was just a little bit too much for me, very far-fetched, and I just felt like it was a fever dream as we went through. But yeah, I would recommend this if you do like Alice in Wonderland and you really like whimsical sort of stories. I'm definitely more of a fantasy reader instead of a whimsical reader, so that's on me, but it was still a good time. I did enjoy it and I listened to it on audio and it was a pretty good audiobook, I do have to say. So yeah, that is that one. The next one that I finished in July was 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I gave this a 4-star rating. I mentioned this before, but I don't know what video it was, but I tried to read this back in 2019 and I put it down because it was just a bit much for me. But I decided to pick it up back in June, and I kind of slogged my way, not slogged, I kind of took my time reading this and kind of going through it. And it took me quite a while, but it is a chunker. It is 734 pages, and this is a story about Jake, and he comes across a person who wants him to achieve this mission. And to do this, he has to go back in time through this magical door that this person has found and go back in time to save JF Kennedy from being assassinated. So we're following Jake as he's going back in time into the 50s, and this, like, so he goes into the 50s and he has to build up to 1964. And I had a really good time with this. I really did enjoy it. There's a lot that happens within this that I think there's certain parts that could have been taken out. And with Stephen King, there's always certain things that are not great within his books, certain words used, things like that, and certain stereotypes, etc. But I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. And I knew that people cried at the end of this one, and I didn't understand why. Like, I didn't know why people cried. And I was like, I'm not gonna cry at a Stephen King novel. Like, are you crazy? I finished this and I cried. It was sad. But yeah, I liked the concept of time travel. I liked that it was sci-fi for Stephen King, because I know he's known for his horror, and I thought that this was a very interesting take, and kind of seeing the butterfly effect here in this book, which I thought was really, really good. I had a good time with it. I don't think I would reread it, but if you are looking for something that has time travel that is very 50s and 60s vibes, and you don't mind Stephen King's writing, I definitely think this might be a good one for you to check out. The next book that I read was Second Rate Superstar by Sienna Trapp. So this was an ARC read for me, and this is the 3rd book in the Connecticut Commons series. We're following Braxton and Dakota. So Braxton has just gotten onto the Connecticut Comets team, and he is kind of overshadowed and in the shadow of his older brother. And he is really struggling with that. He has a lot of pressure on him because everyone's watching him to become the next Jackson Slate, and we're following him as he is trying to deal with that. Then we're also following Dakota, who is this romance author who hates athletes, wants nothing to do with them due to trauma that she's had. I'm watching her mother deal with that scenario. So she ends up deciding to write a hockey romance where, because it's trending at the time, she thinks that this could blow up her career, and she goes to this party that these hockey players are at, and she's kind of like taking notes, and Braxton sees and goes over thinking she might be a journalist, and they have this interaction and he becomes obsessed with her. I really, really love this one. I gave this 5 stars. This is one of my favorite ones in this series. I had a great time with it, and I love being with the Connecticut Comets. I love seeing the team, although this one wasn't as heavily focused on the group of people that we're following within book 1, book 2, and in the Remington Royal series. But we do see them quite a bit throughout this, which I thought was really cool. I really love the family scenario within here. I love the conversation that it has on mental health, and I just really, really liked the relationship between Braxton and Dakota. It was just beautiful. I really liked their dynamic. I really liked how Braxton took his time with her because he knew she didn't want to date an athlete. So he took his time with her and taught her a lot and helped her write her book, which I thought was great. So then I did a vlog where I read my TBR Veterans, and I read 3 books. So I read Cold Granite by Stuart McBride. I had a good time with this one. I don't really want to talk too much about these books because I would like you to go check out that vlog, but I gave this 3 stars. I found it to be okay. This is a crime where we're following our detective D.S. Logan, and he is on the case of missing children and their bodies are turning up in a brutal way. So he's trying to find out what happened to them. Then I read Angel's Blood by Nalini Singh, 5 stars. Absolutely love this. This is paranormal romance. In this one we're following Elena. She is a vampire hunter, and we're also following Raphael, who is the Archangel of Manhattan, or America in general, and he hires her for a job and sparks fly, and I had a great time with this one. Then we had Whispers Through a Megaphone by Rachel Elliott. Gave this 2 stars. Wasn't a big fan, but you can hear all my thoughts about those books in that vlog. I'll link it up above and down below. The next one that I read was Feybound by Sarah El-Arifi. I had a really great time with this. I really enjoyed this. This is a 4-star read for me. So in this one we're following Yeren. So Yeren is in the army, and she's always been in the army. The army is all that she knows, and her sister Leto is a prophecy or a diviner, a prophecy maker, and her sister basically tells her that she will find her success in the east, and while she's on a routine mission that shouldn't be anything too hard, she actually leads her group into a massacre, and she gets banished from the Elven lands. And then they come across the Fae. The Fae haven't been seen in 1,000 years. They were believed to be extinct, and we're just following their story as they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on and why the Fae have disappeared, and following that story. And I had a really good time with this. I really like the magic system in here. It's really, really interesting. There was so many twists and turns within this. I really liked Leto and Yeren as characters. They were really good, really strong, independent characters, and I really like the diversity within the LGBTQIA plus community. And I love also that we are following POC characters within this too. I had a really good time with this. I really enjoyed it. I did this as a buddy read with my friend Bessie, and it was such a good time, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading book 2 when that comes out at some point. And the last book that I'm going to talk about is Shades of Smoke and Shadow by Celia Rolk. This is another arc. I give this 5 stars. I love this one. So in this one we're following our main character, who has gotten herself into a little bit of trouble. She has accidentally shown her magic, and the king has come, sent some guards to bring her to his castle, and she effectively becomes his prisoner. Even though he feeds her, clothes her, makes it look like she is a royal, but she is essentially a prisoner. We're following her as she's trying to figure out her new magic and everything that's happening in this world. And this is a debut, and this is honestly one of the best debuts I've ever read. It is stunning. It is beautiful. I really love our main character. She is so feisty, so sassy. She doesn't care. She is very sex positive. She tells it as it is. I really loved her. I really loved Niven and Bo too. They were really great characters as well, and I had a great time following them. Bo is like this grumpy guard who is obsessed with her but doesn't let him show it, and Niven's just this cool little sidekick who shows her around and takes good care of her, and he's very gentle, and he's more the cinnamon roll type. And I just really love this book, but do be warned, there is a lot of trauma within here. You're going to be traumatized by the end of this book, but I had a really good time. And yeah, it was so fun, and I'm very excited to read book 2. The author is currently in the process of writing it, so I'm very excited to get to book 2 and read it as soon as it comes onto my Kindle. But that is all 9 books that I've read in July. Fingers crossed that August will be a little bit better with my reading. I'm definitely feeling more in a ready mood, and I've got some exciting vlogs coming up, so make sure you stick around. Give this video a like if you liked it, comment down below and let me know what you read in July and what your favorite book was in July, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Bye.